that leads us into theme two. And our second theme is forming strategic partnerships and common agendas.
Mhm.
For this theme, my first question is, what types of organizations do you typically partner with? Is it is nonprofits like the primary, or do you partner with government, schools, or private sectors? And how do you determine which are the right fit for collaboration?
Yeah, so we do collaborate with some nonprofits, a lot of religious-based nonprofits. We do not partnership. It's not that I don't love the Lord, and I guess I really do. However, oftentimes partnering with religious um, organizations have a lot of constraints around them and what we can and cannot do and what we can and cannot say. And usually, when organizations partner with religious based organizations, it brings forth a lot of constraints in the area of donations. Like, although we are for profit, we also take donations for students that do not have, resources so that we can give scholarship. A lot of our most 90% of our students are on scholarships. So we we do uh non-religious based nonprofits. And how do we choose them? By their mission statements. If the mission statement does not align with what we believe and what we feel is good for our students, then we do not partner with them. We do have many for-profit businesses that support us. For example, we said AWS, Amazon, Moz, uh, Google, many different organizations that are in the tech sector that do support us, and we do have some government agencies. We do get grants because we are a for-profit, but we do have a nonprofit sector. May I add that we do have a 501(c)(3), but that is basically just to get the students scholarships and funding when they may not have it, and we select those just like I said if they're vision aligns with our vision, then we will select them. And if it does not, then we will bypass that option.
Okay. That's okay. That's awesome. Okay, so in keeping in theme, how do you establish and formalize these partnerships?
We establish a lot of the relationships by simply going to conferences, word of mouth, by just a old fashioned handshake and smile and
Okay.
welcome to the family friendship type um uh interactions. A lot of times there are different websites that you can go through to establish relationships, not necessarily a LinkedIn, which is a good resource, but there are definitely websites that are for people who want to network. There's a lot of executive they're called executive roundtables that I go to just to meet with other like-minded people that are trying to grow their organizations. And so far, we've been pretty blessed in the area by, just formalizing relationships authentically through different websites and through different roundtables and conferences.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. So, for example, your partnership with AWS.
Hmm.
How do you ensure, well, first, what factors influence whether that partnership is a formal one or if it's informal?
Well, if it's a formal one, then obviously we go through attorneys, we go through having our contracts read, and we have something written. Now, there are some, handshake deals that we can do for our students where people say, oh, yeah, we would love to give a donation, and it's not necessarily via a formal agreement or authorized statement, but there are the ones that come via the formal agreement authorized statement would be the ones that we would say are more a the formal relationships. And then those who are just, hey, I have a friend that has a friend, those are the ones that we have that are informal and people that we meet through networking. When it comes to AWS, I would say AWS is formal and non-formal because we actually got introduced to the AWS relationship by a friend that I used to supervise in the software development segment. So when I was the supervisor for a major software developer, back end engineers, this particular person went on to work for AWS and thought that my organization was a very good fit for what they were trying to do to help different. Well, we were once a small business, but now I guess we're considered a little bit. We're not quite a small business anymore, but we gathered that relationship by just me having a friend that I used to supervise. So it would be formal because of the contract segment, but because we are friends, that would also be non-formal.
Okay, okay. So for those types of relationships, how do you kind of said how you structured and you finalized it. Some are through paperwork and legal, and some are through handshakes.
Hmm.
Um, what key elements of those agreements, how do you make sure that they align between partners? Like the key elements align, like you have those common shared interests.
How do we make sure that we have common shared interests
Yes, like how do you make sure that those key elements in that partnership, how do you make sure that they're aligned? So you
with
both see
ours
eye
by the mission statement, by the core values, by the
to eye.
things that they're doing in the different communities. I remember, just to be frank, when first Amazon kind of was getting up and running, the former CFO stated that they do not help nonprofits. They do not help anybody who is not working for them because they say the former CFO believes that if anybody needs help, they haven't helped themselves. So when they first had that CFO, then AWS and all their resources would not have aligned with what we were trying to do. So had they have come and said, "Hey, we want to give you this, we want to contract with this," no matter the dollar amount, we don't sell out very easily. We don't sell out at all. So that would not have aligned with what we were trying to do if they were trying to partner with us simply for revenue growth or just to have a good name in the industry because they knew a friend, we would not take any amount of money for that or any amount of resources or donations. But when the CFO ended up changing, their core values did adjust. And so then we could structure some type of relationship based off of their core values, based off their beliefs, and based off their moral structure. It's not only about moral structure, but also their business organization and their processes. If they do not align with our business organizations and processes, then we don't formalize relationships with organizations that do not align with ours. So, for example, if there is a company that believes that they have to have everybody being a back end a software developer that has worked for them, even those in the finance department who are not necessarily developers, and they stress out their employees to learn different key functions that they were not formally advised of when they first got the role, and then let people go because of things of that nature. We wouldn't partner with them. So there's a lot of pretty much formal moral values that we follow, but also business and organization models that we have to align with.
Okay, okay. So when you find a partner where your core values align,
Hmm.
how do you revisit and adapt those agreements when when needs start to change?
Um, could you rephrase it?
Yeah, like how do you revisit and adapt agreements over time to meet evolving needs?
Oh, over time, like when core values change.
Yes. No,
Well,
no, no, not just the core values, just when the needs change. Like if you meet you engage with a partner, you set a goal, and then say you meet that goal.
mhm.
goal or you don't meet that goal? Like how do you revise those agreements?
Well, the one thing that we do with our partners, we make sure that we have close relationships and we make sure that we have check-ins, constant check-ins, because yeah, that is true. A lot of times we will have set a goal that we have reached, when it comes in terms of we have this many students that need scholarship, or this many students need to have graduated by this day, or we need this amount of funding by this date. And when we reach those goals, we do have to make adjustments. And so what we do is we do many different check-ins. We do forecasting. We do modeling of what we perceive to happen. But the one thing that we make sure we do is that we collaborate and stay in close contact and in close communication to make sure that we're all aligned on what we are looking for and what we need and where we are currently in terms of that goal. So when the goal needs to be adjusted or if a contract needs to be adjusted, we have talked about it and we have maintained a good matter of communication.